welcome everyone. It's August 28th, 2020. We are still in the midst of COVID, still lots of things going on, but one thing that continuously remains to hold true is we all need to continue to write business. So take screenshots. I will record this. It will be on a private YouTube channel. Once again, I'm not willing or wanting to share this with everyone or the world, but I will send this out to those that attend that are contracted with Senior Enrollment Solutions. So welcome once again. The flow of this workshop. First and foremost, I want to begin with marketing, business basics, COVID-19 marketing, how we're marketing, how you may want to market, and just thoughts throughout the marketing strategy over the next month's time preparing for AEP. Telephonic role playing. I want to go through a few minutes of just objections, stalls, the first 8 seconds, as that is really the Achilles heel over the phone. And then get into the carrier enrollments. That's really where the questions continue to pop up is how do I enroll? How do I complete this compliantly through this particular carrier? So once again, as we go through this, I'm planning on an hour. I will stay on for the chat room about a half hour after. I know there's going to be several questions that do come about. But with all the slides that we have, I'm timing about a minute a slide. So let's rock through this afternoon, hopefully learn something and grow. So my background, I began in health insurance sales in 2005. I helped implement the first agent CRM in 2006, which allowed drip emails, which allowed you could load 1,000 numbers into the system and it would dial them all at the same time and leave voicemails, etc. Obviously, that's a predictive dialer. That's illegal with Medicare. You need to be on a progressive dialer. But nonetheless, during that time, I sold over $2 million in health insurance and life insurance, belly to belly. I moved to telephonic sales in 2008. And then I wrote another $3 million more in health and life insurance. So I moved to Medicare in 2009, where at that point in time, I've averaged about 500 consumers a year while building the agency. And the way that I did that is to automate, streamline, and continue to produce business. In 2009, the ACA was enacted and health insurance kind of died out. Commissions went down to nearly nothing. At that point in time, Medicare just seemed to be the ticket. And please understand that, everyone's saying it's every 8 seconds someone turns 65. It's not. It's every 5.2 seconds now someone's turned 65. Guys, we are in the biggest bubble ever, besides the real estate bubble of 2006, 2007, when it comes to the industry. And more importantly, we receive renewal commissions where very few other industries do. So we moved into the Medicare segment because of that true renewal income and created SES due to losing my renewal book to a previous agency. Can't emphasize that enough when you have to sue a previous agency just to get your hard-earned, rightfully your money. So obviously we helped and create this non-captive agency. You don't obviously go through your commission assignments as a street level agent. We're in 47 states, 155 carriers. We do have a top FMO contract with most of our carriers, and we assist hundreds of agents grow their Medicare and life insurance business. So understand something. Most of you on this call are self-employed. You need to hold yourself with the expectations of being a strict boss. Understanding the product knowledge, the plans, the materials, the websites, the enrollments, your record keeping, having a CRM, whether or not it's just an Excel spreadsheet or you use ACT, understanding the compliance that needs to go in to all of these sales. Your organization as a small business owner, do you have enough inventory? Do you have enough business cards? Do you have enough thank you cards? Do you have enough whatever you need to get you through this AEP? And if you don't, please reach out to us or get online and get the paperwork ordered. Do you have your links saved? Do you understand what links each carrier operates off of? And you have these saved and ready to go. Do you have folders for your consumers, whether or not on paper applications or whether or not you're saving things, in a server through the cloud on your own server? How is all of this compliance and storage taken care of? Your compliance knowledge on the telephone, your submission, and once again, the storage and the sales of your consumers. Is your boss lenient or is your boss strict? That's really what it comes down to. And how can you make your boss more strict to continue to produce more business? Marketing, 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 more marketing, marketing. You are a marketer. You understand that. You market yourself 90% of the time. Whether or not it's leaving a business card at Panera Breads, whether or not it's purchasing hot internet leads, whether or not it's dialing turning 65 consumers, you market yourself 90% of your career. You're only a sales rep. About 10% is really the time in which your work week is put into helping a consumer or producing business. It all comes down to marketing, letting everyone know and anyone know what it is that you do. Target your audience and have laser-like focus on that audience. Learn to work your current book of business. Thank you cards, prescription discount cards, magnets, business cards, holiday cards, Thanksgiving, Valentine's, I don't care. But that's so, so important to recognize how to get out in the marketplace to continue to assist and let everyone in your community know, this is what I do. And you need to find me because I know what I'm doing. And I am a professional in how I conduct my business. Continuing. My apologies. Invest in your business. Marketing is an investment. It's not a cost. Marketing and innovation make money, and everything else in your business ends up being a cost. So don't worry about the cost of doing something. Worry about the cost of not marketing yourself or not going out in the community, so that way you can continue to increase your business. However, you do need to understand your marketing costs, getting the most out of every lead, your rate of return, not just returned, but also closed consumers. It's one thing to get a lead. It's another thing to have the ability to close that consumer telephonically, belly to belly, or to just close the consumer, period, whether or not it's on Medicare, life, or another product line. Understanding your cost of acquisition, not only the sale, but your first year and subsequent years, is very difficult in this industry to really have a good focus on, just simply due to the fact with those renewal commissions coming in, that lead that I purchased 10 years ago, I may be on the third or fourth referral. And how do you continue with renewal commissions to understand where those leads are coming in or your cost of acquisition? We'll help you through that if you need assistance. But understand, what are you paying for and how many sales are you obtaining out of that lead? A goal needs to be written and attainable. The biggest thing I can assist with is goal setting. They need to be identified, qualified buyers from non-buyers as fast as possible. Are you talking to the decision maker? Is it even a hot lead? Is it worth pursuing? Develop a predictable process. Be more efficient, work smarter and not harder, obviously, and earn more money in doing so. Offer and close multiple product lines. Right now, the talk is final expense, hospital indemnity. If I was hospitalized due to COVID, am I getting meals afterwards? Am I able to obtain, additional levels of service that I may not have on my current plan? So understand that the consumers are out there talking and wanting to have not only just a Medicare supplement or Medicare Advantage plan, but they're also looking to have that cancer plan, the hospital indemnity plan, the final expense plan. They're discussing life insurance, which has changed dramatically over the last few months. So please reach out, but ask the questions to make sure that you're finding the correct consumer and making more money in the process. Continuing on, your opportunities. Most people in most states are told to be at home. Whether or not they're told by their governor, we'll leave the politics out of it, but due to health reasons, most of your seniors are at home now. They're not at the casino. They have money to spend on additional products. They're not out and about because no one wants to see them or they don't want to see anyone else. So keep that in mind, that this is a huge opportunity as we go through this COVID time period to make sure that you understand where these consumers are at to reach out to them. Seeing more hospitals in the news, advertising, and politics really bring health insurance to front of mind. More emotional. lonely, insecure, fearful. You're talking about someone who may have not been out of their house in 3 weeks and they don't want to see their grandchildren or their kids because of fear. Understand where that consumer's mental thought process is during this time. They're not wishing to have extra burden on their family. They want assurance that they're going to be okay. Marketing as a whole is down. We all have a mailbox. Besides the political stuff coming through with the USPS, COVID-19, even social media, I find that my mailbox is far less compacted as what it used to be. It's a perfect time for hospital, life insurance, and illness plans once again. There's no secret to this industry, so let's begin here prior to truly diving in. It's a 5-step process. First, you find consumers anywhere, everywhere you possibly can. Perfect your call and your script. Market your hiney off. Know your stuff and be prepared. All of it. You need to know your phone script, how to enroll consumers, what the products consist of, how to underwrite if you're needing an underwritten plan, but know your product lineup. Obviously, you need to get in the door, maybe not literally, but figuratively speaking, with a predictable phone script. Consult and don't sell. That is the one thing I have found over almost 2 decades in this industry, that when I simply have that consultative approach and I'm not cramming that product down someone's throat, I build a relationship with them, which then continues on for years and years. That follow through and follow up, cards and calls, follow up with them. Have you received your WellCare cards yet? Have you gotten my magnet? Have you gotten my business card? You have a way of making contact with me at any time if you have any questions, correct? Correct, I do. Wonderful. So please reach out if there's anything further I can help you with. And at that point in time, I generally receive a referral, and we start back over with step 1 again. So that referral base is huge as you're working your book of business and selling consumers. Always do what's right for that consumer, and the referrals will simply come through. So, beginning of your day, we're going to prepare your workspace. Is your desk, your car, your contracting certifications, etc., all in order? Do you have a timeline? Do you know what you're working today? Do you know what you're working next month? Do you have a specific timeline where you can tell others, loved ones in the family, no, I cannot do the laundry today. Unfortunately, I'm working. No, I'm unable to pick them up today. Unfortunately, I'm working. Make a timeline and stick to it. Do you have scripts? More importantly, are they near you? Are your objection responses near you? And rolling into your power phrases, do you have power phrases? More importantly, do you know what they are? And is your computer and your phone charged with websites, etc., up and running? Prior to making a call, all of that needs to be put into place. Prepare your workspace, right? More to have in order. Do you have your product information in order? Are you certified and ready to take applications today? Avoid a 2-step process because you are not prepared. And assume the close. Assume that close. All the way through. We all understand that the be back bus does not come back. It doesn't. Now, if I can close you and build a relationship with you, then I know you're coming back and sending me referrals. But this call me back later, etc., which we'll go into here in a moment, it doesn't happen in any industry. Your agent resources. Have you read your Medicare Renew book? Do you have one handy nearby you? You're choosing a Medigap guide. Have you read it? Do you have one handy near you? Do you have a link, or are you using the FAQ page on the Senior Enrollment Solutions website to get into the Medicare.gov website to run consumers' medications to help find the right plans? Your product, carrier, summary of benefits, do you have that handy? Your Google, Firefox, and Explorer, which browser are you using, and do you understand which carrier only accepts which browser to finish that Humana Medicare Advantage plan application? Do you have your quoting engines open? Do you have the Senior Enrollment Solutions website or agent portal open? Increase your sales numbers with predictability. This is not an emotional game. It is oftentimes for new agents that come out, But once you're able to have a predictable process, then at that point in time, the emotion quickly goes away. Understand where your numbers are to have predictable marketing, to have a predictable phone script, to have a predictable presentation. My presentation, my phone calls are the same 99.9% of the time. I can write out to you what the consumer is going to say by how or what I'm saying to that consumer. Predictable closes obviously then creates a predictable income. Informational or out of fear. So how are you marketing yourself? Is it, ooh, a super scary time at this moment in time? Or is it, hey, I can help guide you through this scary period. Please reach out to me. I have the information. So understand as a consumer, especially in a political year with everything that's going on at this moment in time, we are marketed in one of two ways. It's either, hey, we have the information, reach out, or boogeyman's out there, right? You need to purchase this out of fear. We're more of an informational stance. However, there are agents that are getting great responses out of marketing out of fear. Life insurance, final expense, hospital indemnity, etc. Do you know how your Medicare is covering you if you have COVID? You know, some of these marketing pieces do very well. That's, once again, your preference. Are you looking to market carrier specific versus personal? What's your marketing budget? And more importantly, do you have one? Early on in my career, I was up to $7,000-8,000 a month marketing just for myself to produce enough business. Many of you may not have that marketing budget yet, but you continue to feed the beast, you continue to make more money, you continue to feed the beast, and obviously life continues to go on. It is a new world, and there are new strategies. There may not be the opportunities for gatherings. Those days of walking into a facility and walking out with 17 or 18 applications, frankly, may be over. It's a one at a time, two at a time world now. And unfortunately, that is the world that we live in. Your ability to sell multiple applications, once again, may be limited. Consumers are at home, right? They're not going to the bingo halls. They're not going out to these events. All the events are closed. Detroit Zoo Days, Kalamazoo Senior Expo, etc. These events are all closing down. And so that opportunity to sell a group of consumers at one time is, for the most part, over and maybe over for good. So let's adapt and let's figure out how we can collect more onesie twosies throughout every day as opposed to those larger events coming in. Market the locations we know the consumers are located at, right? Let's be wise about our marketing strategies. So first and foremost, the introduction. You have to get through the first 8 seconds. You are on a bolt. It's snorting, it's bucking, and it's trying to get you off. How can you hang on the first 8 seconds? And I assure you, for those of you that are recording yourself, making it through the first 8 seconds is the Achilles heel for phone work. Initially, you need to establish credibility. Who are you and why are you calling me? What can you do for them or for me as a consumer? Show no signs of weakness. You know more than they do. We all realize this, right? We all took our AHIP. We're all licensed agents, and they are looking and need your services. We know this. Perception does become reality. As you're on the phone with them, I'm either going to hang up with my dignity or hang up with a sale, but nothing in between. So recognize those phone calls and your perception of, I do this every day. You're my 5th sale today, ends up becoming reality for you. Learn how to control your conversation. Listen carefully. Constantly critique yourself on what you may have done wrong or need to continue to work on to be strong enough to get over whatever hurdle, stall, or objection you may be running across. Do not get mad at yourself or the consumer, and never give up or get blown off. Be strong. Finish that conversation either with a sale or with some kind of information changing hands. That consumer, once again, reached out for a reason. Who are you? Are you certified? Are you appointed? Are you a specialist? I know we have MEPD agents on the line. I know we have MedSup agents on the line. I see a few life agents on the line as well. So watch your compliance. But when I reach out to someone or you reach out to someone, how are you presenting yourself? I'm a certified agent here in the state of, or I'm a licensed agent here in the state of, or I'm appointed with whomever, or I'm your local specialist. How are you projecting yourself to the consumer initially in those first 8 seconds? And more importantly, what is the consumer's mindset? Did that consumer fill out that marketing lead for them? Are they calling in for them or for a spouse or a sibling? So understand, where is that consumer's mindset before you get too terribly far into the conversation, because frankly, you may not even be talking to the decision maker. Understanding your objections. So all the objections, all 7 of these, that's all the objections there are in the world, can be found on the SES agent portal. The rest are stalls. So as an agent, it's crucial that you learn to take a stall and turn it into an objection, and that you understand the difference between the two. A stall is trying to blow you off. An objection is, I still have questions that you haven't answered, so provide me more information. So your 7 objections. 1, you're blocked at the gate. What's the nature of your inquiry? 2, your competition. We already have service. 3, we can't afford it, or I lost it, or whatever, and I'm trying to get it back. 4, your timing. We're fine for now, or I just lost my Medicaid, or I just purchased coverage, or whatever it may be. The meta issues, cell phone issues, computer went dead, or whatever occurs on their end where they can't complete the application or they can't complete that enrollment. Make your own top 10. What are your objections that you're coming across all the time? I know people laugh at it, but when I was selling health insurance years ago, I always continued to say the same sentence, and I always continued to get the same response. The response was, are mammograms covered? So I had to figure out what I was saying to then initiate the consumer response to ask the question. And once I changed that sentence, I never got asked that question again. So understand and make up your own top 10 objections or stalls, and more importantly, have no fear. I want to take a moment out. I'm going to unlock Ellie Phillips's mic so she can get on for just a moment. I want to go through just a couple quick role-playing scenarios with you that we all run across on a day-to-day basis, and how to get through that telephonic role-playing. Before we begin, and as Ellie is unlocking her mic, and you can speak up whenever you wish, Ellie, I'm going to skip ahead for just a second. I want to talk about verbiage. I want to talk about not painting yourself in a corner. I use a tremendous amount of verbiage in my calls. Usually, typically, generally, most consumers, many consumers, group them. Consumers want to do things that other consumers are doing. I find that many of my consumers are asking me about life insurance right now. Have you reviewed your coverage recently? Most consumers are pretty scared of the COVID and being hospitalized. Have you had a chance to understand how your Medicare plan covers COVID? When I'm initially on the call with someone, does that ring a bell? Do you recall? Do you understand? Have you read? Or as you have read, as you may know, I go through that verbiage with the consumer, because frankly, otherwise you end up putting yourself, I hear you, Ellie, you end up painting yourself into a corner. Is this for you or for someone else? Understanding, once again, where the consumer's coming from. And I use or a lot. Were you inquiring for yourself, or, and I just end it, or. And if you create that open-ended sentence, then you generally receive a reply. So I hear Ellie's on the line at this point in time. I just want to go through 4 objections with you. And I can always go through additional objections offline, but these are the 4 that I feel as though most agents are running across on a day-to-day basis. Go ahead, Ellie.
Hello,
Hello, may I speak with Ellie, please?
and who's calling?
Hey, Ellie, this is John Fallett calling. Ellie, recently you requested some information. Apparently, you had some questions in regards to your Medicare or Medicaid coverage. Does that ring a bell?
Well, not really. I don't remember requesting anything.
Okay, it was basically on a generic postcard that you had filled out and then returned back to my office. Do you currently have Medicare and or Medicaid?
I have both.
Wonderful. And at that point in time, the call in my eyes is over. I made it through the first 8 seconds. I know the consumer's name. I know she has Medicare and Medicaid. We moved past the fact that she doesn't recall sending anything in. I don't give a damn. I don't care if she recalls doing so or not. We both know that she may have. Most likely, I know that she did because I have the lead card. But obviously, the first 8 seconds is over and we're already warmed up. So, on to objection number 2.
Hello?
Hello, may I speak with Samantha, please?
Sure, this is Samantha. Who's
Hey,
calling?
Samantha. Hey, Samantha. This is John Fallett calling from Senior Enrollment Solutions. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Samantha, the reason for my call is you recently requested some information regarding either your Medicare or Medicaid. Does that ring a bell?
It does, but I already bought something.
Oh, that's great, Samantha. Which plan worked out best for you?
I bought a Molina.
Okay, perfect. And are you
I actually didn't buy
100%?
it because I don't have to pay a premium.
You're correct. In the state of Michigan or whatever state you may be in, that you're right. You do not have a premium for that plan. Are you still 100% satisfied with that coverage?
Well, it's kind of new, so right now I am, but I'm not sure how things will go.
Sure. So, Samantha, understand that you can shop your coverage pretty much anytime throughout the year. So, with that being said, do you mind if I follow up with you in a few months' time just to make sure that you're still okay with your current coverage?
Sure, that would be great.
Wonderful. So, Samantha, once again, my name is John. I'm going to send out a business card as well as a magnet to you so you have my information. And I'll follow up with you that first week or so of October just to make sure that your Molina is still working well for you, okay?
Okay, great.
Okay,
Thank you.
wonderful. Enjoy your day, Samantha. I'll speak to you soon.
You too. Bye.
On to objection number 3.
Hello,
Hello, may I speak with Robert, please?
Robert?
Yeah, is Robert available?
Yes. This is his wife. Can
Oh,
I help
great.
you?
My name's John. What's your first name?
Jenny?
Jenny. Hey, Jenny. At some point in time, either you or Robert requested some information. Apparently, one of you had some questions pertaining to your Medicare or Medicaid. Does that happen to ring a bell to you?
It does. And Robert goes by Bob.
He does. Jenny, are you the decision maker? Are you helping Robert understand his coverage, or was this inquiry for both of you, or
Well, it's for Bob, but we talk about things and sometimes I need to help him understand.
first 8 seconds is obviously long gone, right? So I know Jenny and Bob. I know Jenny's helping Bob. I know the inquiry was for Bob, but I know Jenny's probably in the same situation. And I'm most likely going to end up selling Jenny and Bob as we go through this conversation. Next objection.
Hello?
Hello, may I speak with Samantha, please?
Samantha's not here or home?
Okay. Is this by chance her mother or daughter?
Well, it's her daughter, Becky.
Hey, Becky, my name's John. Becky, at some point in time recently, I believe your mother or maybe yourself had reached out. One of you had some questions in regards to your mom's Medicare or Medicaid. Is she available?
She's not. She doesn't live here.
Okay.
And she doesn't have her own phone, so uh, it hasn't been working. So she must have sent that in. So what's it about?
Okay, so apparently she just had some questions that she's trying to get answered regarding her Medicare or Medicaid coverage. Once again, my name's John. I'm a local licensed agent here in the state of, make it up, and we're past the first 8 seconds, right? So I'm now friends with her daughter, and I would then get into the conversation of, when do you generally see her? When do you typically have conversation with her? Does she live with you? Do you normally help her with her groceries or whatever it may be, to get in with Becky to help with mom? So once again, that verbiage goes a very long way to gather the information that I need out of that consumer. The biggest thing as an agent is you need to know who you are talking to, who the decision maker is, and how you're going to build that relationship with that decision maker. So notice I introduce myself. My name's John. What's your first name? Not what's your name, what's your first name? No one will tell you their name, but their first name, for whatever reason, they would gladly provide that information. Going back to the I already bought something. I lower that sales resistance wall immediately. That's great. Thank God. Hey, look, you got off your ass and you found some coverage that suits your needs and fits your budget. Kudos for doing so. What plan worked out best for you? Meaning you actually put some thought into this, and you didn't just call a 1-800 number with Humana and buy whatever plan. So I'm hoping that you put some thought into this. So to recap, that's great. Which plan worked out best for you? And you'll almost always receive a response. And at that point in time, 8 seconds is over, and you're going to be willing to tell me whatever I wish to know at that point moving forward, as long as I ask it appropriately. So understand the psychology of the close. Getting in the door, marketing, your appointment setting, your event planning. This is all psychology. Sorting versus selling. Get the sorting out of the way. Let's get through the dead leads. Let's get through the non-decision makers, and let's figure out how to make contact with those decision makers to get into that sales process faster. Show them how you feel. Give them some enthusiasm. You're on stage for a very brief period of time that you actually have a chance to sell someone today. Get on stage. If you need to stand up, stand up. Get enthusiastic. They want to buy from someone that's not Eeyore. People buy on emotion instead of on logic. So understand that logic is the right side. Emotion is the left. I may have that backwards. However, it's one side or the other. So understand that when I begin that emotional sales process and I become a storyteller on how this plan or these plans is going to change their life and help their family, etc., I'm selling on emotion, emotion, emotion. Do not flip over to the logical side. Do not start doing math with them. Oh, Joyce, you're going to save $38 this year on your medications, etc. Don't flip-flop from emotion to logic. You will lose that consumer because it's a different part of their brain. The key is, no matter what story you tell, you make the consumer the hero. So understand that all of my calls, I make a wound, I pour salt in the wound, I squeeze a tomato in the wound, I make the consumer squirmish, understanding what could happen to them, and then I bust out a Band-Aid and I put the Band-Aid on the consumer and I say, look, I'm the one with the Band-Aid. You need me. And then, of course, they say, you're right, I definitely do need you. And then the sale gets made. So that's kind of how I get through my sales process. But understanding that psychology of all of this is so, so important. If you need CDs, if you want to know, any on the sales side of things, who to watch, who to listen to, please reach out. There's so many good articles and CDs that sales reps have made. I didn't invent this, guys. I just continued to practice and sharpen my sword or my axe so I can continue to write more business. Build a relationship. Get invited in your consumer's circle of trust. We are talking about a consumer that typically has a spouse within an 18-month age bracket of themselves, okay? We are also talking about family sizes being larger. Most of our grandparents have 4, 5, 6, sometimes 12 siblings in their family. So recognize that if I can get in with that one person and then they can refer me over to their siblings, then everything else is amazing in my world because I just started this whole referral sprawl that continues for years. Closing techniques. Let's get you started, okay? You probably feel so good that this is all over, huh? You probably feel so good now that you understand this better and what your options are, right? I'm sure your mind is at ease now that you have that extra security, that long-term care, the additional life insurance. But close the consumer. I have been in so many marketing events where they get up in front of consumers and never, ever close them appropriately. They need close still. And if you do your job right, hopefully what they're stating to you is, what's the next step? How do I enroll? Right? Once you get to that point in your career, you're like, wow, this is so easy. I obviously have this down. And that's what you're wanting to get to is, all right, Susan, what's my next step in getting enrolled? Or, hey, do you think that you could handle this for me? Any of those, right? That's what we're all after. Completing the enrollment. Carriers and CMS are changing requirements daily. I almost want like an asterisk on this one slide because everything is changing so rapidly due to COVID. And with AEP beginning in the next 4 weeks' time, these slides, I almost assure you, were outdated, and I worked on them this morning. So keep that in mind as we go through this. Also keep in mind that every carrier is going to be a little bit different. Read your emails. Read your emails. Review and understand your CMS marketing compliance, including storage of any recorded calls. Security, your computer, is it encrypted? So a couple carriers, a few of them, do require that you have an encrypted computer. If you don't know what that is, open your second monitor and get on encrypting your computer, please. Do you have a server? Are you relying on the carrier servers? So I want to pause here for a moment. The second you start recording your phone calls and there's HIPAA information, you start running into a slew of CMS, FCC, storage, security, compliance, etc. So what the carriers have done is they're allowing for you to dial into a 1-800 number. For instance, Aetna, right, which is right behind me, they provide you a 1-800 number where they store that scope of appointment, where they store your applications of Telephonic. It is far more secure for you to have them store it. But as a side note, I do not trust anyone's server. I don't give a damn if you're Google or Microsoft or Amazon. I don't trust your server. So as a side note, as you're collecting that telephonic signature, I beg of you, put in your CRM, right on your Excel spreadsheet with your book of business or whomever it may be, on September 1st at 2:53 p.m., here's the confirmation number or what have you. I dialed from this phone number into Aetna or into Molina or whomever to collect that scope of appointment. So it's always CYA. You have to cover yourself in this industry. So a few things. One, if you are looking to go down that recorded call arena where you're setting up your own CRM or you're purchasing Dolphin or you're in Vertifor or what have you, understand that CMS compliant side of things and how you're storing. Otherwise, it may be far easier for you not to record a damn thing and rely on the carrier, but certainly take notes on when and how you submitted that, because 9 years from now, if CMS comes back wanting a scope of appointment and you did it through Aetna's 800 number, you might want that date and time to be able to get with Aetna and try and find it. So just keep that in mind as you go through the security due to the fact that we deal with HIPAA on a daily basis. Measure your results. Can you identify a call that may not be worth your time and move on in the first 30 seconds? Can you listen and present according to your customer's needs? Instead of talking over them, you're conversing with them. Are you measuring your results on a daily, weekly, monthly basis? Do you know, are you doing better this month of August compared to last year at this time? or the year before for that matter. Constantly change your process to reflect new ideas. I'm always adding a word, deleting a word, listening to myself on the phone and my inflections and how I'm portraying myself to that consumer. It needs to be perfect. You're on stage. People are paying to see you on Broadway. And if that's the case, I charge a lot. And I want that revenue that comes in to mirror my performance. And trust me, your performance, if it becomes A rated or A plus rated or even higher, the revenue, the ticket price that you're able to charge your consumers, if you will, is much higher. Set realistic and obtainable goals. If you need help, please reach out. I would be more than happy to help any of you set daily, weekly, monthly, yearly goals. I might have to unplug something here in a second. Analyze your sales process. Get your business organized. Step one, increase traffic and calls. How many leads versus how much cost, right? Get a marketing plan together. Step two, increase your appointment to call ratio. Leads versus appointments set. Increase your appointments that show and decrease the ones that no show. Even if we are discussing telephonic sales, they are still appointments. I book an appointment not Tuesday afternoon, but Tuesday at 2 o'clock. And at that point in time, I am expecting that consumer be on that appointment. Sorry, I'm just looking for another charger, which I should have. Increase your closing ratio. It is a numbers game. Figure out and improve your numbers, and your income, I assure you, will follow. Know your numbers. So I just want to begin here for a moment. How many mailers have you sent? How many are received? How many calls made, appointments set, closes? So just on a mailer standpoint, and for those of you that are dialing hot internet leads that are on, those of you that are dialing turning 65 lists that are on, it still holds true. If I send out a 1,000-piece mailer and I get 40 leads, okay, it's 4% rate of return right now on average, and you make 10 sales, you close 25% of your leads. Those 10 sales compared to 16 sales, increasing this just by 15%. You're not a rock star. You're not closing all 40 of them, which no one can. But if you can increase that to 16 sales over 6 years, that increases your revenue by $60,000 a year just by improving a smidge, a little bit, 15%. You're not even closing half your leads. You're only closing almost half your leads that you're receiving. And your income dramatically increases.